Hello all, welcome to our science class. How are you all? I hope you are all fine. Today we are going to learn about a new chapter, water, the life-giving liquid. It's there in your textbook, page number 227, chapter number 15, water, the life-giving liquid. So let us learn the mind map for the chapter. Children, now we are going to learn about water and different characteristics and properties of water. Okay, so water, as you all know, water is an universal solvent. Water is a universal solvent. Now about sources of water, we are going to learn about sources of water. There are different sources of water like rainwater, groundwater, surface water and ocean water. So we are going to learn about each and every sources in detail. Then about states of water. States of water. So there are different states of water: solid, liquid and gas. Is it not? Solid, ice cubes; liquid, water; and gas, water vapor. So we are going to learn about different states of matter, and then about freezing. Freezing, what do you mean by the process freezing? Freezing is a process where a liquid is changes to solid. Liquid changes to solid. Then about vaporization. Vaporization. Vaporization is a process where liquid changes to gas. Liquid changes to gas. Then about condensation. What is that? Condensation. So condensation is a process where gas changes to liquid. Gas changes to liquid. And then evaporation. Evaporation. Evaporation is a process where liquid changes to vapor. Liquid changes to vapor. So we are going to learn about all these things in detail. Then about water cycle. Next thing is about water cycle. So water cycle, water follows a cycle. Is it not? Water follows a cycle of evaporation, condensation and precipitation. So we are going to learn about this water cycle in detail. Clear, children? Yes. Children, now let us start the lesson, water, the life-giving liquid. Okay, so as you all know, water is an universal solvent. Is an universal solvent. It is one of our essential need. Is it not? Yes. Water is essential for the existence of life. Clear? Then, so without water, there would be no life on earth. There would not be life on earth, or else there would be no life on earth. So water covers 3/4 of earth's surface. It covers 3/4 of earth's surface and constitute 70% of our body. So 70% of a human body constitute with water. It constitutes water. Clear? Yes. Then, so let us learn about the available water. How much water is available for our use? Okay. So here they have given a circle chart. Circle chart. We are going to learn about the usage or available water for use. Okay. So water is a precious resource. Water is a precious resource. Okay. So now out of the available water, 97% of water is salt water. About 97% of earth water is salt water. So they are found in oceans. They are found in oceans, which is not suitable for human consumption. Which is not suitable for human consumption. Then, so remaining 3%. Remaining 3%. Is it not? So 3%, less than 3% of earth water is fresh water. 3% of earth water is fresh water. Clear? So out of this 3%, 70% of this fresh water is frozen. It's available in the form of ice caps or glaciers and all. Clear? Then, so the left out to the max, it will be 0.3%, 0.3%. So this 0.3% of fresh water is available for our use. It is available in the form of rivers, lakes and springs. Clear? So only 0.3% of water is available for our usage. Clear? Yes. Children, water is available various sources. So what are they? Rainwater, groundwater, surface water, ice caps and glaciers and ocean water. Clear? Now let us learn about one by one in detail. Children, now let us learn about rainwater, the first source. Okay, the main source of water is rain, isn't it? Yes, the main source of water is rain. Rainfall occurs when the water vapor in the air condenses. Rainfall occurs when the water vapor in the air condenses. Clear? Then, rainwater is the purest form of water. Rainwater is the purest form of water. However, while falling in the atmosphere, it gets mixed with dust particles. It gets mixed with dust particles and other impurities which is present in the atmosphere and becomes polluted. So naturally, rainwater is the purest water. But if it is mixed with dust particles or other impurities, it becomes polluted. Clear? So this is about the first source of water, rainwater. This is about the first source of water, rainwater. Next thing is about groundwater. The next source of water is groundwater. Okay, so about groundwater. A part of rainwater percolates through the ground. It will penetrate to the ground, or else we can also use the word percolates through the ground and forms groundwater, and that becomes groundwater. Clear? As water passes through several layers of sand and rocks, it gets naturally filtered. And it is free from suspended impurities. Approximately 30% of fresh water exists as groundwater. 30% of fresh water exists as groundwater. However, because of pollution or groundwater contamination or else overuse, all these things threaten this valuable resource. Clear? Yes. So this is what about groundwater. Now the next source of water, that is surface water. So what is this surface water? The water which is present on the surface is surface water, isn't it? Yes. Water present on the surface of the earth in the form of ocean, river, lakes, ponds and streams are called as surface water. They are the different forms of surface water. Then the water in rivers and lakes comes from where do we get this water? The surface water, where do we get this water? We are getting from, it comes from rain and snow melting on mountains. Ultimately from the rain and snow which is melting on the mountains. Then altogether this surface water accounts 80% of the total water we use. Okay, next thing is about ice caps and glaciers. Okay, so what is this? They in total occupy 70% of earth fresh water. 70% of earth fresh water. So 70% of earth fresh water is locked in glaciers and polar caps. So one best example is the Siachen glacier. It's in India. That is one of the glacier. Clear? Next thing is about ocean water. The next source of water is ocean water. So where do we get this ocean water? River water is the source of water for the ocean. River water is the source of water for the oceans. So the main thing is seawater. Seawater is considered to be as the most impure form of natural water. Why? Because you all know seawater is salty, isn't it? So common salt is obtained by the evaporation of seawater on a large scale. You all know we are getting common salt by evaporating the seawater. Okay, in a large scale when they are doing, so they'll accumulate the salt in the corner and we are getting salt, isn't it? So that's what about ocean water. Children, now let us learn about uses of water. Okay, so water is responsible for carrying out important body functions. It's responsible for carrying out important body functions such as digestion, respiration and excretion. For all these processes, water is highly responsible, highly essential. Clear? Then it helps in absorbing and transporting nutrients and oxygen to various parts of the plant. Then water helps in eliminating waste from our body, isn't it? Yes, water helps in eliminating waste from our body in the form of urine and sweat. It also regulates our body temperature. Clear? Then water is essential for germination of seeds and photosynthesis. It is essential for germination of seeds and photosynthesis. Then animals and plants regulate their body temperature through transpiration. Water is also known as a universal solvent. Water is known as a universal solvent because it dissolves more substances than any other liquid. That's why it is also called as universal solvent. Clear? Then water is used in making soaps, medicines and fabrics. Then water in dams is used for generating electricity. Water is used for making electricity, Such electricity, where we are getting electricity from water, such electricity is known as hydroelectricity. What is that? Hydroelectricity. Then water is used to irrigate fields. And grow crops. Clear? Then water is also used as a fire extinguisher. Clear? Yes. So this is what about uses of water. Children, naturally water exists in three states, that is solid, liquid and gas. These three states of water is interconvertible, that is solid can change to liquid, liquid can change to gas. Okay, so we are going to learn about that. Water occurs in three states of matter. What are they? Solid, liquid and gas. Then they are interconvertible. Means solid can change to liquid and liquid can change to gas. So they are interconvertible by means of doing some process. So we are going to learn about that process. First about freezing. What is that? Freezing. So what do you mean by freezing? When water is cooled to 0 degrees centigrade. When water is cooled to 0 degrees centigrade, it changes to ice. It changes to ice. Ice is a form of solid. Water exists as a form of solid, ice cubes. Is it not? Yes. The process by which a liquid that is water changes to its solid form on cooling is known as freezing. Clear? Yes. Now let us learn about the next process, vaporization. So what is this vaporization? When water is heated to 100 degrees C. When water is heated to 100 degrees centigrade, it begins to boil and changes into vapor. Isn't it? Yes, it begins to boil and changes into vapor. What is that state? That is gas. Is it not? Yes. The process by which a liquid, that is water, changes to its gaseous form on heating, that is water vapor. The gaseous form of water is water vapor, is known as vaporization. So there is a conversion between liquid to gaseous form or water vapor, and that process is called as vaporization. Clear? Now next process is about condensation. What is that? Condensation. So what is condensation? On cooling the water vapor. Is gas form, is gaseous form. Is it not? On cooling the water vapor, gas, that is, it will gradually change back to water. It's gradually changing back to water, that is liquid. Gas will turn back to liquid. The process by which a gas, that is water vapor, changes to its liquid form, that is water, on cooling is known as condensation. That process is called as condensation. Clear, children? Yes. Then next process is about evaporation. What is that? Evaporation. So about that, the process of conversion of water from its liquid state to vapor state. Below its boiling point is known as evaporation. What is that? Evaporation. So there is a conversion of water from liquid to vapor, and that process is called as evaporation. Clear? So these are different processes. With all these processes, water is interconvertible. It is changing from one state to another, solid to liquid and liquid to gas. Clear, children? Yes. Children, now you can see the picture for interconversion of states of water. So here water exists in 3 states. What are they? Solid, liquid and gas. Clear? So it is interconvertible by means of some process. So as I said now, solid is converted to liquid by melting. And then liquid is converted to solid by freezing. Clear? And then liquid is converted to gas by boiling. You are getting water vapor. Is it not? So liquid is converted to gas by water vapor, and gas is converted to liquid by condensation. And then gas is transferred to solid. It's transferred to solid by solidification, and then solid is transferred to gas by sublimation. Clear, children? Yes. Children, now let us learn about special properties of water. Special properties of water. Water expands when it freezes. It expands when it freezes. Whereas almost all other liquids contract when they freeze. Is it not? We are getting ice cubes. Water expands when it freezes. Almost all other liquids contract when they freeze. Clear? Then, second special property, the solid form of any liquid is heavier or denser than the liquid form. The solid form of any liquid is heavier or denser than the liquid form. But the solid form of water, that is ice cubes, is lighter. It is less dense than its liquid form. Is it not? Ice cubes will float in cool drinks and all. Is it not? So it is less dense. But when you are comparing with any other thing, that will be heavier. But here, this water is less dense. That's what. Clear? So this is what about special properties of water. Children, now let us learn about the next part of the chapter, that is water cycle. Water cycle. So the water cycle is a process in which water moves from the land to the sky and back again to the land. So it is a cyclic process. It follows a cycle of evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Evaporation, condensation and precipitation. So now the total amount of water in this universe remain constant. So totally same amount of water is existing. Okay, the total amount of water in this universe remain constant. Water evaporates from the surface of water bodies as more and more water vapor cools into the clouds. So first what happens? Water evaporates from the surface of water bodies. So water is getting evaporated from water bodies like rivers, lakes, so many things are there. Is it not? Yes. Water evaporates from the surface of water bodies as more and more water vapor cools into the clouds. The water droplets that form. So it gets evaporated and it is stored in the form of clouds. It's stored in the form of clouds. The water droplets that form, the clouds become larger and larger. So how much ever the water is getting evaporated, that is stored in the form of clouds. Now, when the clouds become too heavy, water falls down to the ground. So once it becomes more or too heavy, automatically it falls down to the ground as rain. Okay, falls down to the ground as rain. Clear, children? Yes. The process by which water vapor present in the atmosphere condenses and falls down as rain, snow or hail is known as precipitation. What is precipitation? The process by which water vapor condenses and falls down as rain is called as precipitation. Clear? Then this rainwater collects together to give rise to different water bodies. This rainwater collects together. Again, rainwater is getting collected together to give rise to different water bodies. Then the water in these water bodies, again it gets evaporates. Why it is getting evaporated? By the presence of sunlight. Because of the sunlight. Due to the heat of the sun, it's getting evaporated, and again cloud will become dense, and again rain will come. So evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Precipitation is cloud is falling down towards the ground as rain. That's what precipitation. So this cycle, evaporation, condensation and precipitation, the cycle continues. Clear? Then this cyclic movement of water from the earth to atmosphere and back to earth makes up the water cycle. It makes up the water cycle. So this is what about water cycle. Clear, children? Yes. Children, now you can see the picture for water cycle. What is this? Water cycle. So here we can see the water body. Okay, all rivers, lakes, ocean considered as water bodies. Now here from the water bodies, water is getting evaporated. Water is getting evaporated and it will reach the sky as clouds. Will stay as clouds. Water will stay as clouds by the process condensation. First it's getting evaporated and then it's condensed to form cloud, and then again because of precipitation the clouds will reach the ground as rainwater. Okay, that is because of precipitation. That is because of precipitation. Clear? Yes. Now we can see here some plants. We can see here some plants. Okay, so here they have mentioned about transpiration. So what is transpiration? Transpiration is a process of water movement. It's a process of water movement through a plant. And it's evaporation from aerial parts like leaves, stems and rivers. The water is getting evaporated and it is reaching the clouds. Clear? So this is what about water cycle. It's a cyclic process. It will continue by evaporation, condensation and precipitation. So this cycle continues, and this is what about water cycle. Clear, children? Yes. Children, now let us learn about drought. Okay, so about drought. So rain is the important source of water, is it not? Yes. So sometimes when it does not rain, it leads to scarcity of water. The rivers and lakes start to dry up. Without water, it start to dry up. The soil also becomes dry due to transpiration. The soil will also become dry due to transpiration, and there is no addition of water. So this condition is called drought. Clear? Yes. Next, let us learn about flood. Okay, so too much of water leads to problems. If there is water flow too much also, it will lead to problem like flood. Okay, so generally this flood generally develop over a period of days. It won't happen within one day. It will develop for a period of days. Floods disrupt normal drainage systems in cities. It will disrupt the drainage systems in cities. Flood also destroy crops, agricultural land, buildings and farm animals. Crops, agricultural land, buildings and farm animals. Clear? Then about epidemic. An epidemic is an infectious disease. What is this? It's an infectious disease. Infectious disease that affects thousands of people at the same time in a particular space. So at the same time, thousands of people will get affected because of this epidemic disease. Clear? So this is what about drought and flood. Next, about water pollution. Next, let us learn about water pollution. So what is water pollution? When it will occur? It occurs when a water body is adversely affected by the addition of large amount of unwanted materials into it. So when we are dumping large amount of unwanted materials in the water, automatically it leads to water pollution. Water pollution. Water pollution affects rivers, lakes and ocean all over the world. It affects the rivers, water and lakes. Rivers, lakes and oceans. Clear? Then this consequently harms human health and natural environment. So automatically this water pollution will consequently harm the human health and the natural environment. Clear? So this is what about water pollution. Children, now let us learn about water conservation. Water conservation. Okay, so as per growing population, modernization and industrial growth, the demand for water is increasing every day. Is it not? Water demand is increasing every day. Now, so we must understand the need to conserve this natural resource. Conserve this natural resource. Okay, then so we should follow some steps to save or conserve the water resource. Okay, so we should not leave the taps running while washing dishes and clothes. Whenever it is required, we have to use the water. Okay, so do not leave the taps running while washing dishes and clothes. Clear? Then collect the water used for rinsing fruits and vegetable and then reuse it to water house plants, to use it to water the plants. Clear? Collect the water used for rinsing fruits and vegetables and then reuse the water by watering the plants. Now let us learn about dams. Okay, so what do you mean by dam? A dam is a barrier constructed to hold back water. What is the purpose? To construct it to hold back the water and raise its level, forming a reservoir behind it. A dam is a barrier constructed to hold back water. What it will do? It will hold back the water and raise its level. It will raise its level, forming a reservoir behind it. It serves the primary purpose of retaining water. So what is the purpose of dam? It will retain the water. It will store the water. So whenever there is a need, there is a scarcity, automatically dams will be open and we'll get water. Clear? So the primary purpose is to retain or store the water. Clear? Yes. So this is what about dams. Children, now let us learn about rainwater harvesting. So about rainwater harvesting, rainwater normally runs into drains, rivers and oceans. Is it not? Yes. It runs into drains, rivers and oceans. Then, so we should try to collect the running water, so we can use it for our future use. We should try to collect the rainwater rather than allowing it to run off without being used. So we should try to store the water. So how to store the running water? So people will have rooftop rainwater harvesting. First way is by having rooftop rainwater harvesting. So what is this? It is a method of collecting rainwater. It's a method of collecting rainwater from the rooftop of buildings. Through pipes into a water tank. So they are collecting the rainwater in a water tank through pipes which is in the rooftop. Clear? That's what rooftop rainwater harvesting. The second way is by having pits or tanks. Where they are having, it can be made in low-lying areas to collect rainwater. What is this low-lying areas? Which is at the ground level, which is at the sea level. Okay, So these pits or tanks can be made in low lying areas to collect the rainwater. So these are different methods to collect the rainwater. So this is what about rainwater harvesting. Clear children? Yes. Children, now you can see here a big bowl, a tiffin box, is it not? Big bowl and a small container. Okay. Now we are going to learn about water cycle. Water cycle. So now what I am going to do, I am going to add hot water in this big bowl. Okay. Okay, it's hot, and then what I am going to do, I am going to keep the small container inside the bowl. Okay. So the water will not enter into the small container, like that it is placed. Clear? Then I am going to close this bowl. Now children, the big bowl is kept separately without disturbing. Okay. Now after some time, if you open this big bowl, let us see what is there. You can see here the lid with the water droplets. Is it not? Yes. Now the hot water condensed, it get condensed and it will turn into droplets and it will stick in the lid. Clear? Then that will get stored. What will happen? After some time, this droplets will get stored in the small container. Can you see? Water? Yes. So this is the concept of water cycle. This is the concept of water cycle. Clear children? Yes. Now children, for you all an activity. So what is the activity about? You are going to check the rate of evaporation. Okay. So what you are going to do? You are going to take some amount of water in glass and plate. Take some amount of water in a glass and a plate. Then keep the glass and a plate in direct sunlight. Then check the rate of evaporation. How will you check? Check the rate of evaporation by seeing the amount of water in glass and plate and report the results in your class email ID. Clear children? Yes. So children, with this we have come to an end of this chapter. So after watching the video, read the chapter thoroughly so that you can understand well. Until then, take care. Goodbye.